Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Wednesday, and today we are actually having a good day. We're having a green day in the markets, not only for Bitcoin Ethereum, but for the mining stocks as well. And it's all obviously based on the FOMC statement that was provided. So we'll take a look at that statement. We'll take a look at some news from Venek. They're buying some mining stocks, and also Cleanspark appoints a new CFO. We'll look at that. We'll look at the Bitcoin charts, all the mining stock charts, and we'll go from there. So let's start out with the first one, which is the Federal Reserve issues FOMC statement. So this was released today at 2 p.m. So the Federal Reserve is committed to using its full range of tools to support the U.S. economy in this challenging time, thereby promoting its maximum employment and price stability goals. So here's what they had to say. The sectors most adversely affected by the pandemic have improved in recent months, but continue to be affected by COVID-19. Job gains have been solid in recent months, and the unemployment rate has declined substantially. So this is all obviously good news. Supply and demand imbalances related to the pandemic and the reopening of the economy have continued to contribute to elevated levels of inflation. We know that that is also true. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's being shipped over that's not getting to where it's supposed to go. So there's a lot of, obviously, roadblocks right now in the supply chain. So the overall financial condition remains accommodative, in part reflecting policy measures to support the economy and the flow of credit to U.S. households and businesses. So this is all really good. So the market obviously really liked all of this. It wasn't as bad as people were thinking it's going to be, and that the rates are going to be less than what some people might have been thinking. So this is all good news. So we continue on here. The path of the economy continues to depend on the course of the virus. Progress on vaccinations and an easing of supply constraints are expected to support continued gains in economic activity and employment, as well as a reduction in inflation. Risks to the economic outlook remain, including from new variants of the virus. Obviously, there's always a fear of that. So that's kind of our next kind of FUD that we may see. But it looks like right now this is being taken as good news. The committee seeks to achieve maximum employment and inflation at the rate of 2% over the longer run. In support of these goals, the committee decided to keep the target range for the federal funds rate at 0 to 0.25%. With inflation having exceeded 2% for some time, the committee expects it will be appropriate to maintain this target range until labor market conditions have reached levels consistent with the committee's assessment of maximum employment. So obviously the important part here is the federal funds rate of 0 to 0.25%, which is excellent, right? They're keeping it really low, but they might start raising the rates here. I think they said possibly 2 to 3 times next year, depending on how things progress. So in assessing the appropriate stance of monetary policy, the committee will continue to monitor the implications of the incoming information for the economic outlook. The committee will be prepared to adjust the stance of monetary policy as appropriate if risks emerge that could impede the attainment of the committee's goals. So great news here. Obviously, the market really enjoyed it. So let's take a look at Bitcoin here really quick, along with Ethereum. So as we can see now, Bitcoin is at 49,000, and obviously right around this, let me see here if we can get on that hour chart here. We can kind of see, so this is, what now, is it 6 o'clock roughly? So we're going back to 4 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4. So obviously, like the news, it reached above 49,000. It went up to 49,500, I think it was the high for the daily high on it, which is good. And then we're obviously seeing it kind of float around this range. So right now, we are above our previous, I guess you could call it resistance, which was around 48,500. We're above it now, so hopefully that becomes our support going forward, and our next resistance is at right around 50,000. So we'll see if we can get past this. But obviously the market, as you can see on the right-hand side here, is all green for the most part. There's a couple ones that are in the red. But obviously the market definitely liked the news here today from the Fed and the FOMC statement. So if we look at Ethereum as well, Ethereum is above our support here, which is at 3,950 roughly, and it's keeping above it. So we'll see how this progresses as well. I think right now we are kind of out of the FOMO area, or the FUD area, right? And we're going to possibly continue to have a nice uptrend here, not only in Ethereum but Bitcoin as well. And there's some signs of life, I guess you could say. We've had nice 3 days here, well, going on 3 days. We've had 2 days in Bitcoin where it's been in the green. So we'll see how this progresses. Obviously, there's always a concern we may go down lower until we touch this 50-day moving average here. And I think if we touch or not the 20-day moving average, if we touch this, I think we have a good chance of going above it. So it may be a couple more days before we get close to touching that and then going up above it. So that's just my thinking on that right there. Let's take a look at some of the mining stocks, and we'll talk about some of the other news here as well. So DMG obviously had a good day today. It was up 6.61% on the day. It was up to 73 cents right now. Riot was up nicely as well. It was up 3.7% to 25.87 on the day. Everything kind of went green after the in anticipation of the release from the FOMC. So Mawson was up 4.84%. Obviously, it's had a nice run here in the last couple of days. We'll have to see how this plays out as well. We've obviously you can see this trend line here that we've had drawn here. It's breaking above this trend line, so that's a good sign. Mara is up nicely as well, 3.75% on the day to 38.73. It is battling with the 200-day moving average right now, and we'll see if it can stay above it right now. That's the blue line right here. That's the 200-day moving average, and then we got the 100-day moving average above it. So we can see if it can muster the strength to get above it. Next, we got Hut 8. Hut 8 was up nicely as well. It was up 6.41% on the day. You can see the trend line that we've drawn here as well. It's above it now. It's breaking out of it, so that's a good sign, and it is staying above the 200-day moving average, which is good to see as well. DigiHost was up 5.18% to $4.06. It is way below the 200, 150, and 20-day moving averages, so we'll see if that can reverse the pattern here and go back up. And then we got HIVE. HIVE is up 4% on the day to $2.83. It is also, if we look at the pattern for it here, it is trying to basically break out of that pattern and continue to go back up. We got some news on HIVE and some of the other mining stocks that VanEck is buying. We got a news release on that, so we'll talk about that as well. Cleanspark was up nicely. It obviously started the day really low. It was down to, what was the low on it today? 1056 was the low. And then it obviously went up from there. So it was actually up higher if you count where it started today. Pre-market, I think it's up 3.3% now to 1251, but I think it's up definitely more than that from where it started at, obviously 1050, and it's up to, so it's almost up $1. So I would have to say it's up more like 6-7% on the day. Bitfarms, last one here, was up 5% to 521. It is also breaking that downtrend line here, so that's a good sign, and it's battling with the 200-day moving average as well. So I'll just keep an eye on it and see how that one plays out. Okay, so back to some of the news here. I wanted to show you guys some blockchain data here. So on Bitcoin, we've obviously reached a peak on hash rate at 181. We have come down a little bit to 175 right now, and we'll see if this can continue going back up higher as miners get installed. That's always a bullish sign, I think. Next one that I wanted to show you guys, network difficulty has also been increasing over time. We can see it here. It gets adjusted every 2 weeks or so, and it has been going up. So miners are getting definitely installed, and that means obviously the miners are going to be getting less of a reward for their for all their miners. So they got to get those miners installed, in my opinion. Miner revenue, as you can see, has been coming down. We hit a high here in October of 74 million, and we've been coming down ever since then. We're at 44 million right now, basically given out on daily time frame. And there was something else I wanted to show you guys here. Actually, no, I think that's it. That's all I want to show you guys on that. All right, so let's get to the news right now. So VanEck Digital Transformation ETF buys HIVE Blockchain Technologies, Hut 8 Mining Corp, and others. So investment company VanEck Digital Transformation ETF buys HIVE Blockchain, right? Hut 8 Mining Corp, Bitfarms, Bitmining, Cleanspark sells. They also sold some, reported selling HIVE in the past at a higher rate, at a higher stock value. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, Hut 8 Mining, Big Digital Assets, Future FinTech Group, Inc. During the 3 months ended 2021 Q3. So they have added their positions to these companies and sold some off. So that's obviously good news. So you got new purchases here: HIVE, Hut, Bitfarms, BTCM, Cleanspark, CIFR, and Gbox. And they added positions to MicroStrategy, Riot, Coinbase, Square, Voyager, Galaxy, Mara, some of the other ones here, DMGI. So, and they sold out of some of those as well during that time frame. So, but they're back into it. So that's good news there. And we really don't have any other minor news except for this one here from Cleanspark, which names their new chief financial officer. So today announced that its board of directors has appointed Gary A. I'm not going to try pronouncing his last name. Gary, I'll just call him Gary V. Chief Financial Officer of the company. V succeeds outgoing CFO Lori Love. That is a cool name. V has more than 2 decades of technical, operational, and strategic experience in finance and accounting. Has held senior positions where he specializes in strategic planning, mergers and acquisitions, and debt financing. So the part that's kind of interesting to me is the mergers and acquisitions. Obviously, we don't want them to be merging with somebody. We want them to be acquiring, if anything. So this is the one that I'm hoping that they maybe do something like that. Because if they are going to want to grow their hash rate, they're going to have to either build out or acquire. So those are just my 2 cents there. What else do we have here? V begins his tenure effective today, and then Love will work in a limited capacity during the transition, so she's on board still for the time being. They did not provide, as far as I could see, why Love was being replaced or stepping down. So all in all, not bad news. Not much going on there, obviously. But it was good to see that at least Cleanspark has kind of rebounded a little bit. And I did say that I would pick up some shares, possibly if it went to around $10. I did not get a chance to buy some, so I'll be looking to maybe buy some more during this week if possible. But right now, I currently don't own any shares, nor am I shorting any shares in Cleanspark, just so you guys know. But I am looking to pick some up, depending. Holiday expenses have been kind of out there right now, so not a lot of cash on the sidelines to invest. So I think that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you guys think, obviously, of the stories about the Fed. I think that was good from the Fed statement as far as I'm concerned. I think it eases some of the tension that we've had in the market. I think the market can finally go back up. And then we'll just wait until the next Fed story comes around. You never know. You might have China banning Bitcoin again for the 9th or 10th time already. So that's it. Great day. We're in the green. See you guys in the next one. Bye.